a whole bunch of just like, it's all the same colors laying out in front of us here. Welcome to the Ultimate Deck Show, everybody. Shane Chapman, Wade Laurent back here to entertain you today and teach you a little bit about the entry-level composite deck boards that are available in the market from the big brands.
I like that idea. This is a good one. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, this should be really good. So just a little bit of a caveat, asterisk, heads up, warning, whatever you want to call it.
Fun fact?
We're not taught. These are not the cheapest boards in the market.
Oh
Because
no.
the cheapest boards in the market are crap.
Yep, you won't find those here.
What we're talking about today is the lowest cost options from each of the three big brands that are still good products. Okay, so we're not talking about stuff that just fell off a boat and washed up on shore, some guy grabbed, sells for $1. It's like, it is composite.
Composite,
Like,
yeah.
Technically it's still composite.
got
Don't worry
things
about
in
that
it.
there. There's some barnacles in the back of it, but don't worry about that. So we're not talking about the knockoff brands that not sure if they're good or not. They're probably not. We're talking about Trex, TimberTech, and Fiberon, the three biggest brands in the composite decking game. You know for a fact, if you get a board from these people,
It's a fact.
it's a good product. And in the event that somehow it becomes not a good product, you have a failure, you have a warranty claim, they're gonna be around for a little bit, and they've got lots of money so that they can cover your warranty claim.
Yep.
Right? So you've got some reassurance in the event that you get a bad batch or something like that. These are not, you're calling
They'll take care of
somewhere, you're calling somewhere locally and you're getting some support.
Yep.
In addition to that.
Yeah.
So let's get after it. Now, every brand has good, better, best within their lineup and different price points. All we're talking today is the lowest price point from each brand. So
Would you
even
think
if
that
they,
this is the lion's share of composite decking?
I would say that this is the lion's share. Yeah.
Then we'll talk about the lion's share of decking today.
Yeah. So across these 7 colors of decking, and in the States it would be 9. 'cause
Very
there's a couple.
Rain Man, good job.
Yeah. It would probably make up a good chunk of composite deck sales in the USA and Canada.
Yeah.
Let's get started. The lowest, and this is organized in lowest price point to high as we go through it, but the difference in it is like, it's cents. It's like the lowest cost and the highest one that we have here is like a 30 to 40 cent difference Canadian. And these may be priced the same in your market or reversed a little bit. Hard to say because sometimes logistics and distribution plays into the price points a little
Yeah,
bit.
freight for sure.
Yeah. So we're starting with Trex. Trex's entry-level line is the Trex Enhance Basics line. So if you go to Trex.com, look at their wide selection of decking. You've got the Trex Enhance Basics, Enhance Naturals, Select, and Transcend Tropicals. The cheapest one, lowest cost, is Enhance Basics. So let's have a look at this, should we?
Here you are.
3 colors available in this line. Are you being Vanna White today? Or what?
Yeah, you can.
There's 3 colors in the Trex Enhance Basics line. This is the first one that the
Beach
camera
Dune.
doesn't even like to focus on. So this is called Beach Dune. This is a nice light brown. Is it nice?
I was like, I've heard you describe it differently than that before, so.
It's a little baby poopy. But if
Yeah.
you're looking for a light brown on your deck, like light brown just as it's not Trex's fault that light brown has become a baby poop color. That's just the color of baby poop. So
I don't have one.
a deck or a baby.
Yeah, no experience with baby poop.
So this board is, let's talk about this line a little bit first. So the Trex Enhance Basics line gives you a 25-year fade stain and structural warranty. So you get the same warranty on their entry-level line as you do on their high-end line. So their
Correct.
Trex themselves is just as confident in this board standing up over time as their best board. So that's a great thing. Why is this one, $2, I'm going to guess in the States, $1.99 per linear foot instead of $5 like their Trex Transcend line? Well, here's a few things to note.
Here we go.
Number 1, scalloped back. So on Trex's Transcend line and even their Select line, you're getting a full thickness board. The whole board is like the same thickness all the way through. With the Enhance line, they've scalloped material out of the board, and that's just strictly a cost savings measure. How do you make a board less money than another board? Well, you put less material in it than the other board.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of it right there. As you can see, it is still strong enough. Like, so does this weaken the board is people's most common question. Like, is this board weaker as a result? Well, yes, technically it would be weaker. It would have a lower break point than the Transcend line would.
Certainly.
But it still passes their break test. It's still plenty strong for residential applications installed on 16-inch centers.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about it breaking. It's not going to break. It's still plenty
not
strong.
break under your feet. Yeah.
The other thing you'll notice, if you've looked at some of the Trex high-end stuff like Island Mist, is that it's got some beautiful streaking coloring in it, while this one does not. This line does not.
Plain.
It's solid color only.
Yep.
So it
All
costs,
of them.
costs more
All
to
of the
streak.
boards we talk about today are going to be like that.
Correct. Yeah, nobody's come out with a super low-cost variegated board, so they're all solid color.
That's what it is.
Enhance does have the Naturals line, which adds some streaking color into it. They're beautiful. They cost more money.
Correct.
It's $1 more linear foot.
Not this show.
Not this show. We're just talking about the cheapest options.
Correct. So the profile changed a little bit partway through the year.
It did?
Not nearly as deep scalping. I just wanted to do this actually.
Yeah. Comb your fingers through there. Yeah, they reduced the depth of these scallops halfway through the year this year. So this is an older sample. Yours won't be quite as deep, but it's still going to be scalloped in the same 6-finger profile that this is.
Correct. Manufacturing issue, right? They couldn't make it fast enough.
Yeah, they had to extrude it a little bit slower when they had the deeper scallops. My guess is that the less deep scallops will probably give the board a bit more stability maybe as well. But anyways, that's it. So if you now also durability.
Oh yeah.
So their Transcend line is pretty bulletproof as far as scratching goes. Yes, it can be scratched, but it's very, very durable to everyday use. This stuff is going to scratch a little bit easier, but it's a third of the cost.
Correct.
It's half to a third of the cost, so you're gonna have to give some things up, and durability is one of those things. But for everyday use, this is still gonna hold up just fine. Just make sure if you're shoveling snow, you're not using a metal blade shovel.
But that would be with everything, right?
Correct. Yep.
I think maybe where you'll see it is like you might get a bit of a wear pattern on your stairs if you keep going up the same spot over and over. If you're sliding furniture like chairs and stuff around a dining room table, you might see a little more scratching there. With the Transcend line, you probably won't see that as much. So
those are the things you're giving up. But at the price point, this is a great option. Great option.
Wood would do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like wood is going to scratch as well.
I'm gonna hold these up together.
Okay.
Another one. This is Beach Dune. We said that light brown color, and then they've also got saddle. So Trex actually has the most number of color options at their entry level price point. By one. But they've also got this color here, saddle. Now,
or 33% more.
Well, 50% more.
Oh yeah. I'm bad at math. Somebody's strong.
This color is a little bit confusing because if you type in Trex saddle into Google, you're going to find a few iterations of this because their Select line also has a color called saddle, very similar to this, and their earlier generation of Enhance also had a color called saddle. This is Enhance Basics saddle. So just a little bit darker of a brown, obviously complements this Beach Dune quite nicely. Same embossing pattern, same scallop, same everything. It's the same board. So I'm having trouble. There we go. There, it's focused in there. So yeah, same scallop, same everything. Another option from Trex, same price point. Now, not everybody wants a brown deck.
Nope.
And Trex understands this.
Yep.
So they have a gray deck. So the third color, there's 3 colors in the Enhanced Basics line. Beach Dune, saddle, clamshell. Now clamshell is obviously very popular in our market. In markets where you are heavy on grays, this will be a good one for you. It's a nice, I would say, like mid to dark gray. And so it's quite popular. Is that as good for heat? Well, it's going to get a little bit warmer than lighter colors are, obviously. That's just how science works.
Yeah. On our next episode, science.
Yeah, but it's a nice one. There isn't many brands out there that have a color like this in their whole lineup, let alone the lowest cost board that they offer. So
Neighbor Wilson.
There it is. You want to hold the other two up? We'll show the entire lineup. This is the
line.
Trex Enhance Basics lineup. Expect this to be around the $1.99 per linear foot mark in the US. In Canada, you're more like $2.50 to $2.75, somewhere in that range. 3 colors available, light brown, dark brown, and kind of medium to dark gray. It's good. This has been a hit this year.
Yep.
This is new to Trex in 2019, so this is the first year it's been out. We've sold a ton of it. It's a good product. Because before this, your lowest cost board from Trex was about 50% more than what these are, roughly.
Yep.
So this has really closed the gap between composite decking and wood decking significantly. Still more money than wood, obviously, but in the long run, the zero maintenance to low maintenance aspect of this stuff is going to save you money in the long run. Over the lifetime of your deck, this is a cheaper option.
I wonder, yeah. So do you remember when we first started into this, people were talking like 9 years was kind of the break-even point with wood?
Yeah.
I wonder what it is now with this, right? Like 5? 6?
Something like that.
Right?
It depends. If you're going
oil
exactly. If you're going to maintain your pressure treated deck the way you're supposed to, you're going to spend some money on oil and maybe somebody's labor to do the oiling.
Yeah.
And eventually you're going to catch up to the price of what this was to begin with.
Yeah. All of the money now or like trickled in?
Yeah. But the big difference is that in year 10, your wood deck is probably getting pretty close to ready to be replaced, and this stuff still has another 15 years in it.
Yep.
So
if you maintain your wood, it'll last 17, 20 years. If you maintain it. But most people don't.
They don't.
The problem.
They don't. So that's Trex Enhance Basics. The next one we're going to talk about is from Fiberon. And the reason this is going next is because this is just a little bit more money than the Trex one in our store, but a little bit less than the TimberTech product. So we're doing this in order of price. I would say that probably in other markets that TimberTech and Fiberon could be reversed or even the same price. Maybe all three are the same price. So don't take this to mean that these are more expensive everywhere. It's just how it is in our market.
Yep.
Fiberon Good Life. Now this is Fiberon's direct competitor to the Trex Enhance lineup, except this one's actually been out for quite a few years. It's not a new product. They just dropped the price of it this year. So if you bought this product a couple of years ago, you probably paid a little bit more money for it than you would have in 2019, which is weird. Usually things don't go down in price.
Yeah.
But this is how they got into that. Oh, we're all racing towards wood? Okay,
fine.
We'll just drop the price of our boards then. We're not going to come out with a new one.
We were making lots of money on it anyway, so we'll just make less now.
So this is called Cabin. The differences between this one and Trex. So all three of these guys are scalloped in some way.
Correct.
But you'll notice the scalloping on this one is like there's less scallops and they're not as deep. Yep, let's do a side by side, sure. So there you can see the scallop nature of the Fiberon board. They've only got 2 scallops removed out of it and they're not very deep. So they haven't removed a ton of material out of this. However, this board is a little bit narrower than the Trex one. So they've saved a bit of material that way. This is 5 1/4 inches wide roughly versus the 5 1/2 inches wide.
What if we can do that?
We can try it.
Have you been to the gym this week?
If we can line those up a little bit. Well, why does that almost look like... Yeah, no, there we go. Now we got it lined up. So you can... I don't know if you can be able to see that, but you can see over here there's about a 1/4 inch past that it's a bit wider than the Fiberon board. So these boards aren't going to cover as much square footage. On a full deck, you might need one more of these boards than you would have with the Trex board.
Yep.
But less scalloping, which is great. So a little bit more confidence in this board. Because there's less scalloping, you're actually... They sell the Cortex plug system for these boards, which you can't get with the Trex ones.
That's new this year.
And what that is it's a screw that countersinks into the board a 1/4 inch, and then they cut plugs from this exact material to tap in and hide the screw. And it's a awesome looking finish. You hardly even notice the screw is there anymore. It's available for the Fiberon Good Life line. It is not available for the Trex Enhance line.
Correct. Look it up on Instagram. You'll be able to find a video of someone putting a Cortex in.
Warranties are about the same. They both give you a 25-year fade, stain, and structural on these things. So they're very similar in that regard. I would say, in my experience, that the capping is a little bit more durable on the Good Life line. It holds up to scratching a little bit better than the Trex one does. Yep. It's also very different as far as the deep embossing goes. Maybe hold up the saddle board.
Saddle board.
So this one here is Fiberon's embossing, so it's a little bit deeper than the Trex one. And I don't know if you can see out there, very similar grain pattern, but it's a deeper embossing. So it's quite attractive. What more needs to be said about it?
That's it, I think. They're both capped on, like, they're both 3-side cap.
Both 3-sided capped, yeah. You're not getting capping on the backside of either of these boards. That doesn't matter 99% of the time. So,
yeah. Unless you're Jason Varney and you're putting it on a dock.
All day long on docks, yeah. Funny thing about the Fiberon line here is that one color is called cabin, the other one's called cottage, and those are like the same thing, but like regionally people call them different things. We call them cabins here, for the most part.
Yeah.
In Ontario, it's definitely cottage.
Yep.
Anyway.
I don't understand why they would do that.
I don't know. This is Fiberon Cottage now.
Yeah.
This one is the #1 selling board in our whole store. We sell more of this board than we do of any of the other 100 boards that are in our store. This one crushes. And so same embossing, same scalloping, same everything. It's just the light gray option.
Can you see the pattern on that better if you like that?
Yeah, you might be able to.
You can.
There you go. You can see that nice deep embossing on that. Very attractive.
So that's a very subjective thing, right?
Yeah.
Some love it, some hate it.
So some people are worried that a lot of dirt's going to get into those deep grooves. I suppose it can happen. I've got this board on my deck. It never looks dirty. So if it, like, I mean, if you get the pressure washer out and start washing it, you can see that there is dirt coming out of there, but it never looks dirty. Light gray from anybody is a great color to keep things looking clean because it just hides dirt so well. So there's your Fiberon lineup. It's 2 colors. Just like Trex, with Trex's Enhanced Naturals line where they introduce some variegated coloring into them, Fiberon has the same thing in their Fiberon Good Life multi-chromatic line. They've got 3 other colors that have streaking in them, which are beautiful, but they're a higher price point, so we're not talking about them today. They're 70 cents more linear foot than these guys.
Yep.
So this is what you get for Fiberon's lowest cost boards, 2 options instead of 3.
Good.
No dark gray. That's the biggest thing that's missing from their lineup.
They need one more color.
And so does Trex, right? Like Trex could do with a light gray. Like a light gray and that and clamshell together would be dynamite.
Yep.
Each one of these guys should have a light brown, light gray, dark gray. But nobody's done that. But you can mix and match. Like you could get a darker gray from higher up in the line, pay a little bit more for the picture frame board. It's not that big of a deal.
Yep.
TimberTech. Last year, TimberTech's lowest cost line was the terrain line. Had a few colors in there. You had your
3,
stone
right?
ash, your sandy birch, and your rustic elm. So like a tan color, a dark
similar
brown,
to
and
Trex's
a light
line.
gray. Yeah,
Right?
similar. Yeah, yeah,
They had a light gray instead of a dark gray.
yeah. And this year, I think we actually heard about this one first. They might have been the first one to say like, "Hey, let's close the gap between composite and treated lumber." So they released a new line called TimberTech Edge. And just to make it a little bit more confusing, they broke it into 2 lines, the Prime and the Premier collection. Now one is only, the differences are, we've only got the Prime collection here in Canada. The Prime collection has 2 colors, and they're scalloped like that, which is the same basic profile as the terrain line.
Correct.
In the States, though, the Premier line is actually 4 colors. It's these 2 plus 2 other colors, kind of like a...
Dark gray.
Is there a darker gray? And then like a creamy color kind of one, I think, right? Is that right? Anyways, we don't have them here,
I
so
don't have them. I don't know that I've seen them.
I believe those ones probably cost a little bit more too. I could be wrong, but so these would be the lowest cost ones. Now this is Edge Prime collection. This is a color called Maritime Gray. This is very similar in color to the cottage board from Fiberon, if we want to show those together. A little bit more of a neutrally kind of hints towards bluey gray maybe. The embossing's not as deep. You can see it really well right there. The Fiberon has a lot of like really noticeable graining to it, whereas this one doesn't as much, more of a smooth surface. But it's also a very like hairline straight grain. There's no like wood knots, faux wood knots or anything in it. It's very linear. And so that's personal preference. You'll either like that or you'll like the big loopy patterns in the other ones. Yep, up to you. This is a very durable board. We've done our tests with like scraping screws across it and rocks and everything. And the Edge line holds up really, really well, especially considering the price point of it.
Yeah.
So this one in our
durable.
store is only 10 cents more linear foot than the Good Life line, which makes it about 40 cents more than the Trex Enhance line. But again, in your market, it might be closer, it might be reversed, I don't know.
Yep.
Consider these to be all about the same price point.
Yeah, put them all at the, what?
They're around $3 Canadian and around $2 American, probably is what it is roughly, right? This board... So TimberTech always used to cap their boards all 4 sides and through the groove. That was their thing.
Yeah.
In an effort to reduce cost on this line, they've actually not capped the backside anymore. So no different than the other 2 lines. We're equal across the board. None of them are capping the back of these entry-level boards.
Correct.
The scalloping, again, it's more similar to the Fiberon profile, but with a bit more material removed. We can show those 3 together. There's each brand's take on a scallop. So pros and cons to the different ones. Obviously, it's nice. This is maybe a more confident profile. It's like, oh, it looks like the whole board's sticking to me. I have more confidence in that. Allows me to use Cortex plugs. That's great. In Trex's case, it's nice because there's more fingers. So if you have to rip this board at a stair or something like that, and you have to rip off this first nub here, well, you've got this little weak spot here. Whereas Trex, you've got more fingers for support in that scenario.
Yep.
Because the whole like scallop board thing is always a bit of a point of contention for contractors and people installing it when it comes to stairs. When they want to nose over past their framing a little bit and then they hit that groove there and it's like, oh, the board's going to tip.
Yeah.
It's usually a non-issue, but it's a concern that comes up from time to time.
Certainly.
So Maritime Gray, very nice board, very durable, very good price point.
That scalloping pattern is tried and true as well, because the terrain line is scalloped like this, right?
It's not a new profile. It's just a new board.
Yeah, they just didn't put the wrap all the way around.
Yeah, and I've
really
seen in
good.
some markets that we're seeing some of these boards that are coming out wrapped all the way around, and it's apparently it has to do with they're using some of the terrain extruders because they were also behind on getting some of this stuff pushed out, so they were trying to catch up, and they were making some that were capped all sides. But don't expect that.
Yep.
If you get one of those ones, it's like, well, good for you, but they're not all like that.
Buy a lottery ticket.
This one is. Can you hear that buzzing? Your phone is going off like mad.
Yep, I sure can.
There's probably somebody calling in live on this. Be like, hey, you didn't talk about the weather. This one's called Dark Teak. This is the other option in the TimberTech Edge Prime line. And so let's get that to focus in on that. And so very similar in color to the other brown options from the other two brands. Yeah.
Saddle.
A little bit later than that one, but similar kind of colors. So every brand's got like similar colors there. Yeah. So same attributes as the Maritime Gray. Really good board. 25-year fade and stain warranty on this as well in structural. So the warranties across the board are almost identical.
Is it narrower?
Quality. They are a little bit narrower. I think they're a 5 and like 3/8. Yeah, or 5/16 even. So it's a little bit wider than the Fiberon one, but a little bit narrower, I think, than the Trex one. So that's really inconsequential. It's not a huge. Maybe it is just about a full 5.5, eh? So we're comparing the boards down here, out of sight.
Because on screen was hard.
Yeah, so let's just roll through these again one more time, just as a refresher. You've got 2 colors, or 4 if you look at the Premier line from Edge in the USA.
But that's going to be higher price.
But I think it's probably a higher price point. They're not scalloped. They're just a thinner board overall.
Right.
So these are the scalloped options. There you have your TimberTech Edge in Maritime Gray and Dark Teak. Nice light gray, nice dark brown. Then we have Fiberon Good Life. Same colors as the TimberTech ones for the most part, Cottage and Cabin. And then we have the 3 options from Trex. Trex did things a little bit differently. You got your clamshell dark gray, and again your brown options in Beach Dune. So clamshell, Beach Dune, saddle. So 3 options from Trex. You can mix and match these. There's nothing wrong with doing that. I know the brands themselves won't want you to mix and match them, but if you wanted to do like, if you thought, hey, I love this Fiberon Good Life board, but I'd really like to accent it with something dark, well then put it with the Trex one.
Yeah,
that's a good combo.
They're the same thickness, so that's great.
Yeah, as long as you look at the thicknesses, right? Sometimes they're off by a 1/16 of an inch. In this case, I think that actually would be the case, but a 1/16 of an inch is not a huge deal. If it's an 1/8 of an inch, you probably don't want to create that lip between them. Moral of the story is these are all great boards. I don't know that I have a favorite. I have the Good Life on my deck because I like the embossing of it and I like its durability. The TimberTech product is fantastic because it's very durable and it's a different look. The Trex is great because it's a price point and it's got some colors aren't available in the other ones. So if you're to ask me what's the best board, well, if you're trying to pinch every penny, go with the Trex. If you like that dark gray, go with the Trex. If you want to use like 2 colors together and create a combination, go with the Trex because you got 2 browns. You can create a contrast to the picture frame.
Yep.
If you're looking for something with more wood detail to it, we'll go with the Fiberon. It's also a little bit, more durable than the Trex one. It has plugs, so if you're worried about hiding all the fasteners, that's a good option.
Yeah.
If you're looking for something that's probably the most durable of the 3, likely the TimberTech Edge is going to give you that. And if you like that linear kind of pattern and you don't want to see the deep embossing as much and you're worried that the deep embossing means more dirt, well then go with the TimberTech Edge.
Yeah, because the Edge is a shallower embossing than even the Trex one, right?
Yeah. So the light grays are going to stay cleaner, the dark grays are going to see the dirt a bit more, the dark browns are going to see the dirt a bit more. You can't go wrong with any 3 of these. There are 3 great products on the market. Across all 3 of them, they're better than the cheap Chinese crap you're going to find in a box store. These things are $2 US. If you find something that's $1.50 and you're wondering why, there's reasons. It probably scratches like crazy. The caps can peel off. Your warranty's shorter. They're just not good products. So have confidence in buying a good brand. If you were shopping for a vehicle, let's say this: if you're shopping for a truck, you're going to shop for probably a Ford, Chevy, or Dodge. You may consider a Toyota or a Nissan, but they're all good brands. But you're not going to shop for some knockoff brand that's been shipped over from the States that costs half as much, that has a warranty that's only 10,000 kilometers in 1 year. And like the finishing is, and you can see that the paint's starting to peel off the corner. Like that's the analogy that we're looking at here, you guys.
Yep.
Buy a good board with a good warranty from a good brand. Cheap stuff is cheap because it's garbage.
Yep.
So,
and also if you need an infill at the end of the year, from these guys, you know you're going to be able to get a board, right? Your local lumberyard's going to be able to get you 1 board or 2 boards.
yeah.
If you're shopping at a box store and they've run out of product, it's like, next year when the container comes in, that's when you get it. It's like,
Yeah. Yep. So shop with confidence. These are great products either way. If you have any questions about any of these boards, like I said, they all have their little nuances. They're good products, but there's little things to know about each one. Ask in the comments below. I think we're pretty good at replying to those comments. I get on there pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't.
I get so
think that's
excited
it.
when I see a comment come in. It's like, bling, new YouTube comment. Oh, really? And please subscribe. We're loving doing this YouTube stuff, so subscribe, and until next time, let's keep fit and have fun.
Oh boy.
Okay. Good deal. See you later.
Maybe that was your wife phoning me, being like...